This video is brought to you by TipSquirrel at www.tipsquirrel.com. For all the best Photoshop and Lightroom tips, follow at TipSquirrel on Twitter or go to facebook.com/tipsquirrel. Hi everybody, Mike Hoffman here, and in today's tip we're going to be looking at converting an image to black and white within Lightroom 5. But in order to enhance our conversion, we're going to use a feature that was introduced back in Lightroom 3, but it's one that I don't see people using very often, and that is the film grain simulator. By adding some grain to our images, we can give our black and whites a nostalgic and authentic look and feel. Let's go ahead and get started. We'll go to the Develop module, and rather than jump straight into the Basic panel, I'm actually going to start by converting to black and white right off the bat here. And once I've got the automatic conversion, I'm going to select the targeted adjustment tool, and then I'm going to drag downwards in the sky to deepen the sky in the area of the blue color. And we can see the blue slider is adjusting the color of the sky as well as some of the water, and that gives us a little extra bit of contrast. Now we'll go back to the Basic panel, and at this point what I want to do is maybe recover some of the highlights in the clouds just a little bit and open up some of the shadows. And I want to open up the shadows because I plan to add a lot of clarity, and when I do, that's going to darken up the shadows once again. In fact, we can reduce the contrast a little bit to offset that as well. But here's the basic conversion, and this is what's going to work. Now, one other thing that we may want to do, and I like to do this to give my photos an old-timey feel, is to add a little bit of split toning. So in this case, we'll pick a hue that's got a bit of an orange-yellow color to it. And then we'll add just a little bit of saturation here, not too much, and I'm only affecting the highlights at this point. So I'm leaving the shadows with their natural black color. But now if we zoom in closely, we can see that we've got a relatively sharp image here, and it's quite smooth. Let's go down to the Effects panel. Here in the Effects panel is where we find the vignetting effect, but starting with Lightroom 3, we also have grain. And grain has three adjustments: the amount, the size, and the roughness. And let's go ahead and just bump up the amount and see what we start doing to the image. The higher up we go, we start getting more and more of this film grain. But we're not stuck with just a single type of appearance for this grain. We can adjust the size of the grain, making it larger or smaller and finer. A larger grain is going to give you a softer, more blurred appearance and sort of mimic the look of some of the higher ISO films. And then we have roughness as well, so we can make it more or less rough. So I think I like that appearance right there. And there's the image. We'll go ahead while we're here and maybe add just a slight vignette just to darken up the edges a little bit. And now we've got an image that has, well, maybe just a little bit too much grain. Let's back that off a bit. But here's an image that has a vintage and somewhat nostalgic feel. Adding a little bit of grain to your images can give them some character and bring new life to some of your black and whites. Give it a try. My name is Mike Hoffman. My website is hoffmanartdesign.com. You'll find a variety of Photoshop and Lightroom tips and tricks and photography information there as well. You can follow me on Twitter at mhoffman2001, and you can find me on Google Plus by simply going to g+mikehoffman.com. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed today's tip.